the same old radio talk show? There is an alternative. This is GONZO Radio.
Ha ha! I am quicker than the average DJ. Welcome to the GONZO Radio Show. Another scintillating week here in the paradise known as South Florida and Boca Raton. Coming to you live worldwide. And seated across from me with no discernible titles this week because I've been busy doing all kinds of other stuff.
Busy.
Ms. Shotzi Carmichael, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I got my volume on by accident. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, we all had
What's
our
up,
volume.
peeps?
We all had our volume on by accident. We had lots of things going on by accident. But we have got, as I am wont to say, a lot to unpack for you tonight. RUFKM and our segment that's coming up here, what we're going to be talking about in a moment, kind of mesh. But please, by all means, don't think this is a show about pedophilia. Okay? Please, by all means, do not. Coming up after a short break after this segment, we are going to go right to Geek Check with the one and only Mr. Ron Sparkman, who will be coming to us live via Skype. He is the host of At Stardom Space. I had to get that in the right order because at Space Stardom or at Stardom. Anyway, we'll figure out the semantics in a minute. But he's coming up. He's going to let us know all about the movement to Mars, how to get to Mars. He is an astronomer. He is an aspiring astronaut, and it's going to be a very interesting conversation. Sparky and I go back a little bit, and he's a real fun guy, and it's going to be a very interesting conversation because, hey, I'd go to Mars if I could, but they're not going to send me to Mars because I won't eat poop potatoes.
I don't think they could get you all the way up there.
Well, they use a really big rocket.
They
So
would have to. All I need is one of those 5-hour energies, and I could go right to the moon.
Yeah. So, Ms. Carmichael, how was your weekend?
My weekend was pretty good. I gotta admit, I got a job. What? Me?
A job? What, you work?
Walking dogs, but I got a job walking a dog twice a week. Happy about that.
Oh.
Bring in a little money. That'll be nice. That'll be a good thing. Pete'll say, hey, look at that. Yeah, so I'm doing that. So it's actually a good friend of ours, Harley Bofshiver.
A fine chiropractor
Yes.
here in Coral Springs, Florida.
In Coconut Creek, technically. Lions in Hillsborough.
Excuse me, Coconut Creek.
At I think it's called, what is it called now? It used to be Bofshiver Wellness. I think now it's called Broward Spinal Health. He's doing the medical marijuana cards there now, too, to do the medical marijuana, which I'm a big fan of. Not, I got my dad with the Crohn's. We've talked about that before. So that's exciting news. So I'm learning some more about that medical marijuana treatment. Hopefully I could get my dad going on that. Would be great.
Well, that's always exciting, though. It really is. I mean, in order for people to really reap the benefits, you do have to have medical professionals behind it. You do have to have people that will, I would say vouch for it, if you will. To give it the legitimacy, but we've already known, people have known for centuries what the benefits of cannabis are.
Well, I didn't know how much difference there was of different strains of marijuana, and then so I learned a lot from him already because he's taken a lot of classes and stuff about this and a lot of seminars and things, and it's like there's sativa and there's indica, and for all you potheads who already knew all this stuff, like one is certain kind of a effect and one has a different kind of effect, and like it'll tell you like this makes you paranoid, this takes away anxiety. So like certain strains that are good for when you have depression or anxiety, and certain ones that are good if you have like arthritis or whatever, like they're all made to treat different things, just exactly like the way they made all those artificial pharmaceutical chemicals that are getting everybody addicted.
Just itis in general.
Exactly. Burkitis, bursitis, any of those itises.
Yeah. Well, we kind of like the itises every once in a while. But also, the buttons are getting away from me again. I'm extra special with this today. But there are a couple of things actually going on because it is, wait for it, it is National Radio Day. Yay! National Radio. Each year on August 20th, National Radio Day recognizes the great invention of radio. Radio's really
Look at that.
Yeah, well, it's kind of morphed. I mean, AM and FM radio are still ubiquitous because they're still free. But it's a lot of online streaming now. I mean, that's how bands get played. That's how people get exposed, and it's generally through online and streaming or through satellite radio. You know, and can you believe this started in the late 19th century? It became clear that wireless communication was possible in the late 19th century. Yeah, several inventors had a part in the invention of the radio in the late 1800s, but not just one person was credited with its beginning. To make the radio a reality, it required several different inventions and discoveries, including both transmission and reception methods, as well as technology. Ah, fancy, huh? In fact, radio's inception required an international effort. Hey, you get that? International effort? In case anybody's wondering, international effort is the best effort. Also, moving along, because I'm not going to do it. The research of German Heinrich Hertz. Does the name Hertz sound familiar? That would be the father
Hertz
of the,
donut?
the megahertz. You know, the hertz is he's what the hertz megahertz, the measurement of electricity. Yeah, well, he's the one that discovered that electricity could be transmitted wirelessly. And then the multiple patents of prolific inventor Nikola Tesla. Everybody stole from this poor guy. He provided the radio with the Tesla coil, which that is not a Tesla coil in the back. I don't know what the hell that outer space thing is. Look at all the lightning coming off of it. Oy. But and then of course when it comes to the first commercially viable wireless, that would be Guillermo Marconi, and he receives the honor of being the guy that brought us the actual radio.
That's right,
that
the
we like to
Italians.
present.
Because they wanted to be able to talk to everybody. They wanted to be able to communicate because we're, as my dad says, cacchione, chatterbox.
Yeah, but we can't talk on the radio with our hands unless we got video, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nobody can see that. We still talk with our hands, though. Didn't matter.
Whether you can see us or not.
Exactly. You handcuff me, I can't say a word.
Yeah, well, I mean, I came from, when I first started doing all of this, I came from a radio background, a transmitted radio background. There was no satellite radio. There was no
cell phones.
Yeah, there were cell phones. There were some cell phones.
Not back
How
when
old do
I
you think
remember.
I am?
I remember what was
gotta
that radio
shave my
station?
head.
What was that 1400 AM from back in the day, the early 90s?
WFTL.
There you go.
Yes,
I remember
yes.
coming down there. It was always, where's Sprout with our food? Where's Sprout? That's what they used to call me back in the day. Hey, Jonathan made it. Woohoo! All right, finally somebody's in the chat with me. I'm so excited. Sorry,
She
segue.
has somebody to talk to now.
I do. Hi, Jonathan.
It's so sweet.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, well,
I thought maybe everybody was like, oh, no Kevin, forget it. We're out of here. I was all butthurt.
What? You're what? Just like you're not sufficiently cute enough to actually carry your end of the show? Yeah. Nah, too far.
Ooh.
Way too far. All
I
right.
bumped the table. I pulled a Kevin.
Back it up. Don't start smacking the table, whatever you do. But also some other serious stuff that was sort of serious stuff that kind of serious. Yeah, very serious, actually. Stuff was happening. And that was Pope Frank. Pope Frank chimed in on the sexual cover-up, the cover-up of sex crimes against children. Okay. He issued a letter to Catholics around the world Monday condemning the crime. And crime is in quotes. Why? A crime is a crime. Of priestly sexual abuse and its cover-up and demanding accountability in response to the new revelations that the United States, in the United States, of decades of misconduct by Catholic priests. You know what? And I'm not. We abandoned the little ones. Let me tell you, okay. As somebody who is a comic, I don't buy the bullshit story. Okay, you've been covering it up, not only decades, you've been covering it up for centuries, all right? And honestly, you don't get a chance to apologize for this one. Somebody's got to go down. And I'm not just saying go down in that sense, you friggin' pervs, okay? But you can apologize all you want. You can be as contrite all you want. And you can ask for forgiveness all you want. But the bottom line is, put these perverts in jail. Oh, they're Catholic priests. I don't care. They're perverts that molested children. They really, I mean, seriously, they are perverts that molest children, and they don't get a do-over. Okay, they just don't. I'm not giving it. I'm not. I mean, Lisa's over there trying not to jump in on this because she really doesn't want to get all righteous and preachy. But
well, I mean, it's not leftover Kevin fuzz, little beard fuzz or something there on the microphone. Not sure quite what it was. Maybe bandana piece or something. He's just leaving his little remnants behind. He's like a girl that just leaves a pair of underwear. You know, that way you know he's coming back. I just feel like this happens across the board. It's not just the Catholic Church that's guilty. This happens everywhere else. Just some people are better at hiding it than others, I think.
Yeah, but still, they've been hiding it. They've been hiding it for a really long time.
Oh, well, of course.
I mean, think about all the Catholic priest jokes. I mean, okay, I didn't want to. I wanted to meme, but I didn't want to meme because, well, quite frankly, I'm a little disgusted by it. I really am. But here. Meme that, okay? The problem is it's been a joke. It's been a running joke. And it's time to stop making it a joke and start doing something about it. Doing something about it. It's time to start doing something about it. It really is. Because honestly, I mean, I diffuse serious subjects with humor, but this is not a joke anymore. This is getting ridiculous. So, yeah. I'm going to stop boring Ron, who's standing by waiting to get in, and I'm going to take us to a short break because guess what's coming up this weekend on Friday?
Something interesting.
Yeah, the Happy Time Murders.
Oh, that's right. You're very excited.
I love singing and dancing. Hiya, folks. For 50 cents, I'll suck your dick.
Well, it's a great price. It almost makes me wish I had a dick for you to suck.
Oh, I'll take that as a yes.
You two are the most decorated officers in this department. What do you see?
Looks like a robbery gone wrong to me.
This wasn't a robbery, this was a hit.
What the?
Someone out there is killing puppets.
Hey, handsome. You looking for some rotten cotton? I'm a woman.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's even better.
Got a good time for you.
We're gonna catch the bastards who did these murders. Because bodies are gonna start piling up.
You're one of the best damn cops I've ever seen.
I'll have your badge for this. I'm in the fucking FBI.
Oh yeah, what's that stand for? Fucking big idiot?
Cop, good cop, where is your dignity? Where's your empathy? Where is your sympathy? Bad cop.
If shit gets crazy, I'm gonna go crazy as shit.
Is that just a fantasy?
God, are you all right?
I ruptured my hymen.
This pure ecstasy.
I'm not doing this. Do it.
Oh, sorry about your dead human friend, Phillips.
That is good shit.
Well, fuck me.
Maybe.
Is Phil in?
He's servicing a client.
Is that what I think it is?
Here I go, here I go, here I go, here I go, here
Whose idea was it to put Muppets in a movie like that? That was just wrong and funny as hell. It really was. Happy Time Murders. As you can see, I have donned my headphones because joining us live via Skype, all the way from, where are you in Colorado?
Colorado Springs currently.
Wait, there you are. Hi.
Hey.
Welcome.
Am I here now?
Ron Sparkman. Yes. Where are you in Colorado, by the way?
Sparky.
Hey, I'm currently in Colorado Springs, so I'm going to be here for a little while longer, and then the goal after this is to move to Boulder a little bit more. My speed.
Closer to the Air Force?
No, I'm actually less than 10 minutes away from the Air Force Academy that's here in Colorado Springs. That's actually more of the academic side. CU Boulder's there. It's really big for astrosciences, so it's a little bit more my area of expertise. I don't fly, at least not yet, anyway.
Right on, right on. Okay, so let's get to these extensive credits. Okay, because it's a lot of reading here for crying out. You've been a busy dude. I mean, you and I come from a similar background to pay the bills. And, Ron is much louder than me. Well, I can't make Ron much louder than me. Let's see if I can make Ron less louder than me. Minor adjustments. Excuse me one moment. But while I get to your credits and while I find your setting here on the board, because you are the call. There you are. All right, well, let's see.
And also, to make a point, it was not that I was bored. It was that I was biting my tongue because I was enjoying what you were saying about what needs to change about Catholicism, and has had to for a good 20 years or so.
Catholicism and organized religion in general. Yeah. I mean, don't get me started. But
well, have we done this when we did the show 5 years ago? I would have been on this other side, like, oh God, yay! I am definitely not that guy anymore.
Oh, if we would have done this on Planet Platypus,
yeah, I'd be like, bananas. Oh, God, woo!
Well, there would have been 20 minutes of cursing, and then you would have been, you guys are assholes. But as you've connected with space, you've seen the massiveness of the universe, and
I'm just leaving you notes.
No, say it. Say it.
Okay, Ron's still louder than you.
Okay,
your
Ron's
still
low.
low.
See, Ron, you're still louder than me.
Sorry.
It's okay. And that's another thing too. She's louder than you too.
I'm trying to hold up notes for him. You know, like I'm behind the soundboard, like I can't talk to him or something.
Okay.
This is not my bit.
Both of us are quite a bit louder than you.
That's because we're articulate. Well, hopefully, what it is the settings are a little weird. If I did that, maybe that helps. We'll see.
I'm waiting for somebody to tell me.
We'll find out. We've got people in the chat room that are telling us how badly I'm producing the show. But as long as you can hear Ron, fuck it, I don't care. Okay, so let's get to the Ron Sparkman credits, because this is you've been a very busy man. You're the founder, editor in chief of Stardom, all on the platforms of @Stardom Space. It's ampersand Stardom Space, STARDOM SPACE, which, by the way, I subscribe, I follow on 3 different platforms now. 4? Hey, I get a thumbs up. I must be doing something right.
Better audio levels now.
My levels are good. You are an astronomy major. Are you going for a master's degree in astronomy?
So, no, I'm still working on, I started a few years back at
And there's the difference
college.
right there, is that I can't hear you if I have that off.
Ha! Nice.
How about now? There you go.
Now we okay?
You're still coming across.
Oh, you're fine, Ron. It's Gonzo, but nobody really wants to listen to him anyways.
I mean, take his name off the show, right? Let's just start over. Just call it the show. You're good. Or just the radio show.
The radio show. Since it is National Radio Day. So now you're going for a master's degree?
No, so currently I'm in community college. I'm going through all the prerequisites. I want to go to CU Boulder, again, the move to Boulder, and get my bachelor's degree in astronomy there, and then I want to work on my master's, and then eventually my PhD in astrophysics.
Oh, Dr. Ron Sparkman.
Yeah, Dr. Sparkman.
Right on. Get into stellar cartography. Well, stellar navigation too. If you're going to go to Mars,
yeah, I mean, that will be more on the engineering side. We have plenty of people that are out there that love the. I'm still going to get my pilot's license. That's one of the next big things that I want to do. But it'll be somebody else piloting the ship. In fact, it'll probably just be a very badass computer by the time we all start going to Mars. I think Elon's already got that kind of covered.
Yeah, Mr. Musk is it. He is moving humanity forward. Let's see. You are also, you're with Project Possum, The Scientist Astronautics Graduate Advanced Academy and Micro G Spacesuit Evaluation. Care to explain?
It's definitely a mouthful. So we have a couple different programs with Project Possum. I actually did the Advanced Academy, and then so that's for people that are undergraduates, people that are in high school, and then past that we have the Scientist Astronautics program for people that have their graduates and beyond in the STEM fields. So it's a little bit more complicated when it comes to the mathematics. The math is more calculus. I haven't gotten there yet. That's one of these upcoming semesters in school that I have. And so basically it's a way for us to train to be able to understand a part of the atmosphere that we haven't been able to see yet. Planes fly too low, satellites fly a little too high. So we're waiting on Branson's Spaceship 2. So that way we can do suborbital flights and be able to understand basically what are space clouds and how they are being affected by climate change and a lot of the other things that we really haven't been able to understand before because they're in a place we just can't get to.
All right, then. Yeah, that's all part of the space navigation. And I mean, these space clouds, we still haven't figured out the radiation quality of these clouds. I mean,
there's so much. I mean, there's so much that we just can't know because we just can't get to them. That's been the difficulties for so long. And as we're figuring out suborbital flight, that's giving us the opportunity to really understand these things. It was actually cosmologists were looking at the cosmic background, trying to figure out basically the birth of the universe. And they caught these clouds. It was kind of interrupting them, and they were upset about it. So that's kind of how they were discovered. And now we're trying to understand exactly what they mean, really in the scheme of thing, how the atmosphere works, how everything is changing. So we go in, we train, we put on these pretty cool spacesuits. They're the first commercial spacesuits that have gotten to the readiness level that they're at. We actually did, when I flew Micro G last October, it was the first time that we had done a visor down test. So visor down, pressurized in Micro G, making sure that we could use everything, like all the panels and everything that was there for the science we needed to do. So there was multiple members on the team. One person was suited up. The rest of us were there to help out with what it was they were testing. So now they've been tested in water. They've done it through an egress from an Orion spacecraft that was created by the founder and the executive director, Jason Reimuller. So it's really this intensive thing. We've got a full applied astronautics program. I've only done 2 of the classes. There are so many more. Space physiology. We do a lot of training. We actually travel to Embry-Riddle for our week of our flights. We pull 4Gs and they, flip us over on the side in this plane. And I don't know if you remember or not, but I used to be terrified of flying. It was one of the things I hated most. So
yes,
to have me floating or flipped upside down and see the grin on my face, it just goes to show what science can do once you understand. And I gotta thank Billy Michelson for that, fellow DJ friend of ours who said, "You understand science now, man. Here's a physics book. It's like, here's a flight manual. You know what's going on. You can get past this." And 6 months later, I was sleeping on heavily turbulent flights. So I got to thank him for that, for getting me past that bullshit. We'll call it that.
Yeah, because it is mystified. I mean, laymen have no idea what turbulence is.
Yeah, it's one of the way that I always explain it is what people think is dangerous is really kind of what's keeping you in the air. That's how lift and drag work. So what you feel is really nothing. You're hardly moving at all. Wait until you're plummeting towards the ground as somebody is racing a plane as fast as they can on one of these parabolas that we go on. We're floating for 30 seconds in the air, and you can see the pilots. You can see out their window. You can see us racing towards these clouds for this 20-30 second-ish drop where we're completely weightless and just we're in the middle of this. We're doing science, in Micro G, and it's just this very, very intense 30 seconds, and then you get like a moment to breathe as we pull 2 Gs again and we take off again, so that way they can, make us float. It's a pretty amazing experience. It's definitely something I never thought I'd see myself doing. That I've done that, and now I'm excited to go skydiving and get my pilot's license and such. So science definitely gave me a wanderlust as well that I'm glad that I found while I was still young enough to enjoy it.
Oh, science is awesome. Of course, you know me. I've always been a huge fan of science. But that sounds like the vomit comet, though.
It is, but instead of anybody can do the Vomit Comet. Anybody can do zero G if they want to. So you can buy that. That's like $10,000, something like that you can do in South Florida. That is still utilized for science as well. They use it not just for the people that want to have the experience, but for people like us. In fact, a new version of the spacesuit from Final Frontiers Designs that we use with Project Possum was tested on one of those because they needed more people for it. They were doing more work. And so they did that not too long after I trained last fall. So it's something that's still utilized for science, but your average person can do it. But yeah, it's the Vomit Comet. It's basically the same thing. That's how they simulate micro G. We don't say zero gravity. There's always some gravity. Even on the ISS, there's still some gravity. You have some gravity to the Earth. You affect it in a way. It's just so minute that it's not something measurable by us that would matter in a sense. And yeah, man, it's a pretty incredible experience. You get through about half of those, and you're just like, well, I could see why this can throw people for a loop, no pun intended, whenever they're whenever they're in space, especially in a spacesuit. Man, that's gotta be next level. I look forward to doing that in the next few years.
That always reminds me of the Big Bang Theory when Howard went to space and he rode the Vomit Comet. It's like, fun fact, if you throw up, it doesn't go anywhere. It just sits there in a little ball.
It balls up. Okay, interesting point. That actually happened. Somebody on my flight, and it happens, and you just have no control over it. You can do all the training in the world. You can be completely fine with seasickness. You can be fine with everything. You can do everything to mitigate the risk of that happening. It's just going to happen. And it happened to happen on my flight. And it was that fascinating moment. I was just like, oh, look how cool it is. Cause it was liquidy. But it had balled up and it showed an orb like you have seen different astronauts show on the ISS. So for a minute, about 2 seconds, I was super fascinated by it. And then I realized that he had gotten sick. But there's nothing you can do for that. It really is. He had tried everything that he could to make sure that he had taken the patch. I forgot what the name of the medication's called to try to stop it. Had eaten a light lunch. It hit him. And last time he flew and did the micro G, didn't bother him at all. Yeah, it could definitely hit me next time. Who knows? So it's one of those things that you just can't really count for. You just have to hope for the best. And something almost always happens. You're pulling 4 Gs, man. Your body's just it's freaking out a little bit. We're big guys. I wasn't much lighter than I am now, so 4 Gs for a man that weighs 270 is saying something.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of roller coasters and G-forces. I like to go fast, and I like to experience that stuff. But here's my question. Was there somebody experienced that knew to come over with like a bucket and throw it under the puke ball? What happened to the puke ball when you guys finished the apex and gravity took over?
So we're all trained beforehand. Before you do these flights, we did extensive online training with our team. We went through everything that we needed to know in case of those situations. We are not passengers on these flights. We are participants. We are part of a team. So we all knew what to do. We helped as quickly as we could. There's not much you can do because it's, he's floating and stuff like that. You can't get to him. So it ended up back on him, but once we hit the flat point before we started to take off again, took off our seat belts, went and took care of him, made sure we cleaned him up, cleaned up everything we could, and then moved him to a space where he was okay and he was out of the way, and then we could continue to do the things that we needed to do. And on top of this, I got to give you something. It does not feel good, period. I did not get sick, and I know how I felt. Person stood up and was just a complete champion about it and allowed us to continue to do more parabolas and do more testing while still getting sick. He was just like, I'll get through it. Let's do this. Let's make sure we get the work done. That to me is awesome. It's not those of us that don't have to, that are putting ourselves through this that can handle it, or I don't want to say handle it, that don't have these things hit us. It's the ones of us that'll sit and go through it and say, you know what, I'll tough through it so that way we can get the science, we can get the things that we need so we can move this spacesuit forward, this program that we're doing forward. So that was pretty cool. I got to give him props for that.
Well, and that's also the pinnacle of teamwork, because as a team, you rely on each other for survival.
Yeah, absolutely. Something happens, say that the person in the suit gets sick. we've got to, as quickly as possible, get that off of them. Like they're pressurized. We've got to get that up. We've got to get them out of it. We've got to as soon as we can, because I mean, there's certain things that you just can't really stop from physics without, you know, injuring somebody on the plane. But say they get sick on one of those parabolas in the suit, man, we got to stop. We got to get everything right, and we've got to do it together. So you've got to be trained on these things before you do it. And that's the fun part about it, is getting to work with these people and we're all ages. One of the people that was on the flight with me was 16 years old at the time. She also speaks 4 languages. George Takei did a feature on her the other day. She's it has in more advanced math and physics classes than I am. So very, very impressive. And one of the people on the flights is almost 60 years old. It's trying. Project Possum is definitely an organization that's going to allow people to fly and do science and see space, at least suborbital space for now, to see and experience space, no matter their age or their background. There is no discrimination with this group. There's no just saying that only these type of people can do it. Space can be for everyone. If I can learn trigonometry, pre-calculus, calculus, physics, these kind of things, anybody can. I am far from a genius. Like I failed both college algebra and pre-calculus, and I had it again. But you can still learn it. Just because you don't learn it in 4 or 5 months doesn't mean you can't learn it. Things take longer. How many DJs do you know it took them 3 or 4 years to get their feet underneath them and be really good at it? I was 5 years in. I was still sounding horrible. I was trying to sound like Optimus Prime. You know, I was bad. And so
no, that was a good Optimus Prime.
It's not a bad Optimus Prime, and that's really what the DJ says. Like, that's a pretty good Optimus Prime impersonation. Never do that again. He may have used a little bit more vulgar language at the time, but what is happening is that we're seeing the democratization of space. That people have the ability to do these things. Another organizations of people that I know are working on trying to make a space telescope for the average everyday person. How can we start having everybody else involved in space? And that is sort of the point of what I'm doing with Stardom, is that you get the goofball like me, nearly 40 years old. I'm not out of shape, but I'm sure hell not in the best shape I've ever been in my life. And having all these things that would work against me, if NASA was to look at me, they'd throw me in the trash. That's not how Jason approaches things. And a whole lot more gets done because so many more people have the ability to come in and say what it is they love and know. We have doctors, we have doctors in a good deal of fields, geology, astrobiology. We have people that work for NASA. And then you have the people that are more like, say, me, that are just now getting into it, but have a real serious passion for it and have packed a lot in. And in just a few years, there's a place for everybody in it. And that's why I think that program is so important. On top of the fact that we're better understanding the atmosphere, that we are in the process of changing. I won't say that it's all humans. The climate, of course, can change on its own, and it has changed on its own. It's killed almost everything on the planet before on multiple occasions.
And it'll do it again.
And it'll do it again. It can do it again without us. Venus, it happened with Venus, and there's, as far as we know, no life has ever been there. It has the ability to do it, but this is something that when you understand, when you get in these classes and you do the science and you go from the basics of, oh, I've done my basic math training and I understand math and I understand chemistry and I understand the atmospheric science. Now I get what they're saying when they say these things. It's not, people try to politicize it and try to say that it's controversial. It's not if you take the time to do actual scientific research, not watch a YouTube video from Alex Jones. Thank you, YouTube, for removing Alex Jones, by the way.
Well, it's like I've said for years, science and math don't give a shit if you have a little R or a little D next to your name. It doesn't care.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. The thing that I love about what you're doing, because I've been following you for a minute, is that you're challenging the standard that NASA sets for astronauts. Because we're not going to be able to get to Mars without people like you, people like these various doctors that may not be these physical specimens, but they're smart enough to do it, and you can train people to get there safely and effectively.
I agreed. There's one thing I want to take back too, is that here's one thing that the majority of us won't say. We won't say that we are astronauts. What those men have gone through, I cannot tell you how nice it is to sit down and have conversations with astronauts. They really are the best of the best. I have never met really people like that. I mean, really with astronomy, the astronomy side too, with meeting people like, Neil deGrasse Tyson and Amy Mainzer and these amazing science communicators. And on the other side with astronauts.
I'm very jealous of you.
Dude, I showed up. I showed up like I did with DJing. You know, it's just I showed up and everybody could tell how excited I was. I wasn't the best talent as a DJ. I can be an amazing DJ. I can be when I'm on point, and I can do the job very well. And it was the passion that people saw in me with that allowed me to go from somebody that nobody had heard of, an art organization and social media, to me being able to be the very next year ish up for DJ of the year and knowing all you guys, and then making a lot of mistakes in front of you, and then you guys also being mentors to me. It's the same thing in a sense with space science. The student astronaut contest that we'll talk about in a little bit, an actual astronaut endorsed for me for that, and that's somebody I get to call a friend. These people are amazing. We put them up on a pedestal because of what they do, and we thank NASA. The people from NASA have been overwhelmingly helpful. I'm working on a couple different interviews right now with people from NASA, but when we say astronauts, just those astronauts or cosmonauts in the Russian sense, we're talking about these people that are the super highly trained people that are doing the insane work. But there is work that can be done in space with a solid science background. You don't need to be on that level of 1,000 hours of pilot and command training or a PhD in astrophysics. You don't need those things to do some of the work that we can do. And there's so many levels to space as we go through the atmosphere, even the mesosphere, which is what we are studying with Project Possum, is going to be suborbital space. That's something that a lot of people can do. And as long as you handle the G's, that's what we're training for. Can you operate in a spacesuit? Can you operate a very expensive red camera and take the photos of these as we go through the clouds and back through them on Spaceship Two? Can you operate these things? Can you understand it? Are you trained for an emergency situation where you might need to be able to help with something that's going on? That's the things that we're training for, and people with a passion for it can learn it. You might not learn it all overnight. I got the book early just to make sure. I'm like, I need that. Can you go ahead and send that to me?
That's just a sign of
stuff
passion.
I haven't seen yet.
That's a sign of passion. You want to get after it.
Yeah.
Well, then
because
let's
I know
talk
I'm not
about the astronaut training program.
Let's say it one more time.
The student astronaut program. Let's talk about it.
Oh, so what happened is that Emily Calandrelli is this incredible science communicator. She is originally from my home state of West Virginia, and she went to MIT. She's just absolutely brilliant. I got to do an interview with her about a year ago, and she's incredible. We don't have a lot of voices that have come out of West Virginia that are evangelizing, I guess is a term to say, space and science and what it means for people and what it can mean for the average everyday person and what it means to be scientifically literate as the voting electorate. You really understand science, and do you understand that there are people that you're voting for? And let's just say this, it's on the left and right. There are people on the far left that do not understand the science of GMOs, that do not understand the science of vaccines, that are the far leftists, just as there is people on the far right that are saying that climate science is bunk and that it's made up and that we don't understand it. The science isn't settled. We don't like to say that any science is settled. There's always more to learn. And we're not saying that all these scientists agree. What we're saying is the scientists are doing the tests over and over again and trying to disprove each other with the scientific method and seeing that these things continue to exist. This happens. These things are, we're seeing the temperature heat up, that kind of thing. So she's out there in the community doing these really amazing things. And she has a TV show called Exploration Outer Space that's part of Exploration Station on Fox every Saturday morning. And so every year they do a student astronaut contest. And so until last year, you had to be up to only a certain age, like maybe 25, 26 years old, I think was the age range that you could fall into. And last year they changed it to where you could be any age. Are you a student? Can you come up with a video? Can you have an interesting story? And do you have an interesting story in a way to connect with people as a science communicator? Can you show your passion? Are there people that are going to be inspired by your story? All these people that entered were amazing. I went through and watched as many of the videos as I could, and these people are from all walks of life, all ages. And it just so happened that I had a story that, and I've got a good enough following with people that I collaborate with in the science community, that everybody was sharing my video. I got a lot of views. I got a lot of comments. I got a lot of endorsements from people that just a few years ago I was scared to even talk to, that now I get to say are friends of mine. And it was really cool to kind of see that. And I've made so many great friendships from it already. I've probably got 300 or 400 new friends on social media and on different platforms. and people that have talked to me about it. And it was kind of going on when I had some other things happening. I just released a new YouTube series on how to use a telescope, what the beginnings of astronomy are, and worked with a really great team for that. And we were giving away 6 telescopes to people around the world. And so that was all going on at the same time. And then I found out I was a finalist for this contest. And from that, we did an interview with them. We're going to be featured on the TV show. Those of us that lost, a really, really great guy named Lee. I'm not entirely sure how to say Lee's last name right. I feel bad, but I think it's Yacht. He was a finalist last year and he won this year. He's also an astrophysics student. He's also a great YouTube director. He's also so he has a show called The STEM where he teaches about people about space and science. Kids on his way, and this is definitely a springboard for him as well. And so are the rest of the contestants. We had 3 amazing young women that were in the finalist contest or with the finalists with us, and they are all part of an amazing aerospace internship and mentorship program called the Brooke Owens Fellowship Program. And so they're all incredible. I got to meet one of them last week and show her around Space Foundation. We've built this little community, and it's been amazing to be able to reach out to more and more people, but it set me on a different stage, and also allowed me to see the end goal. I want to go to space. I want to be an astronomer. I want to work on these things. But one of my big goals is to be able to do a TV show. Was I ready to be on TV? Am I there yet? Do I have the ability to communicate and connect with these people? So it allowed me to kind of sit down and take stock of everything that's happened. So I'm grateful for the opportunity. I obviously didn't win. I'm planning on entering next year, but it's an amazing thing. If there's people that are in space or in STEM or STEAM period that love it, I really recommend taking your time, doing a 3-minute video, entering this contest, because it has certainly moved me forward in ways that very few other things have so far in my career, but my very short career in the space industry.
Well, I'll say this. You are ready to be a host because I've just sat here raptly watching and listening to you talk. Whether or not, anybody got any questions in the chat room there, Lisa?
Well, not per se questions, but Jonathan was saying, please post links to this on the page too. So they want links about everything that he's talking about there.
Oh, we'll be happy to.
Lena wants to know, what did she miss? Is way too much. Way too much. There's a lot. If she just got here now, she missed a lot.
That is too much. You'll have to go back to the podcast.
So you have to replay later.
Well, yeah, replay it later. I mean, that's why we podcast this stuff. Well, Ron, we've let you talk your head off here and wasted most of your evening while you're sitting here talking about something that you passionately love. We deeply appreciate you coming on. I can't thank you enough. So the next time you're here in Florida, you better look me up.
I am planning on being there for the Falcon Heavy launch. So we mentioned Musk a little bit earlier. He's working towards getting us to Mars. One of his next big launches is in, and I am planning on starting up in Jacksonville and traveling all the way down to Miami. I want to hit all the museums and such on the way down there. So I will probably see you in November.
Okay. Any parting shots before you go? Because I want to turn you loose. I mean, you really packed a lot into, 30 minutes. It felt like 5.
Not for me. I didn't have headphones.
She's like, no,
Well, no, Lisa doesn't have headphones. She doesn't get to listen. She's got to also catch it on the podcast.
Fair enough. Listen, is that I have been there and done that. If we were to have a more open and honest conversation about the history that Gonzo and I have shared over the years, and the good times, I've had very high highs and very, very low lows. And sometimes the highs were at the same time as the lows.
Shit too.
We've had some weird, funny times, some crazy stuff that involved me or Gonzo or separately just our friends. It's been a pretty amazing ride, and to be able to go from that to where I'm at now is something that a lot of people, even me, I didn't even know where I would get to or where I would end up going. So it's possible really for anybody. I don't care where you're at in your life. If there's something you love, at 34 years old, I said, hey, I'm going to get my GED. I'm going to go back to college for the first time. I want to get in this astronautics program. So it's something that's important. If it's important to you and you love it, do not think that your age or where you come from or any of these things. I've met so many people from different parts of the world. I've got a friend in Pakistan in medical school who recently lost her father that is still doing outreach and created her own organization to help do outreach for astronomy with kids. We have somebody in this country right now. Pranvera is an incredible human being. She's been traveling all those over this country because people have sponsored her to be here to have her live her dream of going to all the major observatories. USA Today featured her. She comes from Kosovo. You know, when was the last time you heard Kosovo? Probably when we were dealing with them late in the 90s, if you were alive then. So there's so many people out there that are living this dream. If you've got something that you love, get after it. Do not let people tell you any different. A good support system certainly helps. The one thing that I'll say about the industry is that DJs are supportive of their people. If anybody doubted me, they weren't telling it to me to my face. I'm sure there was a few people behind my back that were just like, this guy's lost his mind. What is he doing? Walk away from a career, probably the peak of his career. And but everybody's been there to support me and be behind me. Even all these years later, they follow me, they share me. A lot of the reason the video got as much love as it did was the DJ community and the industry community overall. So it was that definitely meant a lot to me too, that there's still that support there. You don't see or hear my name a whole lot anymore, but people are remembering and watching this. Well, I mean, industry wise, you don't see or hear it, but they're still behind it otherwise, which is awesome. So thanks everybody for doing what you do.
We went through two major life. Hang on one second before you go. We went as a community through two major life events with you. One, of course, was your passing of your mom. Okay, and I know she was a big inspiration for this. And your trip to Nepal. Your trip.
Yeah, well, and then I think. Yeah, well, so there was all of them within a few years. There was the peak high career-wise of, being the vice president of Panda and making the most money I'd ever made in my career, and then also just not appreciating the relationship that I had with, the woman that would, at least now I would say would be the love of my life, and missing out on that and having the regret from that and being at a low. And we had a tumultuous relationship. A lot of the time, the bad times that you guys saw, or the times that I was rough on a friend, was really me lashing out from what I was dealing with in my own personal life. And so I was able to take that as I was kind of at the low. I watched Cosmos for the first time, and that changed my understanding. That was my epiphany. That changed everything. Yeah, and so I mean, to be able to say that I went from watching that show some years ago, and now I've been able to interview Neil deGrasse Tyson and got a bunch of personal pictures with him. And I'm not saying the man knows my name, my first and last name, and my phone number, but he knows who I am, and he still jokes, he'll come up and say hi to me, like he bumped into me last time I saw him. It's like, oh, my bad, sorry, being silly about it. He's just one of the nicest people in the world. And then from doing that to, as that happened, and I'm starting to find the focus in my life, I take this trip with my mom to London and Paris, and then she passes away. And that was also right around the time that I had my crisis of faith and gave up the idea of God. And so the first loss in my life as a rational agnostic was my mom. How do I deal with a loss like this, knowing that I have no evidence for an afterlife? This is the last time I will see her. How can I do something that will be I can stay on the path that I told her I was going to stay on? So I started working on getting my GED, and then I did the Everest base camp trek, and that was an amazing experience, especially for the fact they lost all my stuff on my way there. I had my bag full of all my equipment and some of my mom's ashes that got stuck in Abu Dhabi. I had to buy everything there in a place where everybody is about 1.5 feet shorter than me, about 200 pounds lighter than me, and about 3 times stronger than me. There are people that are 5'1", men and some women that I saw too, that are carrying 200, 250 pounds on their back up the mountain in shorts and Crocs and a cheap t-shirt that they got from some side store. And these people were incredible. And so I got to have that experience with one of our mutual friends, Thomas Edunk, another professional DJ. And then, the big moves in Dallas and Colorado and everything that's kind of blown up from there. So there was those big highs, and from the lows, I was able to find something. And I'm glad there was something out there for me to love when I certainly did not love myself very much, and probably not a whole lot of other people around me.
It's the makings of a great movie, Ron. Well, thanks so much for being on. We're going to let you go eat or finish dinner. And we're going to jump to a quick break here. Mr. Ron Sparkman at Stardom Space on all platforms. And you can keep up with the adventures of Mr. Ron Sparkman. Ron, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and be right back with our pet of the week.
Look out. When I get to the bottom, I go back to the top of the slide. And I stop and I turn and I go for a ride. And I get to the bottom and I see you again. Yeah. Do you, don't you want me to love you? I'm coming down fast, but I'm miles above you. Tell me, God, tell me answer. Well, you made me up, but you ain't no dancer. Look out, helter skelter, helter skelter, helter skelter. Coming down fast and don't let me break you. Tell me the answer. But you may be a lover, but you ain't no dancer. Look out, helter skelter.
GONZO Radio.
Extra interesting episode. I finally get those headphones off. I hate wearing headphones when I'm doing a show. That's why I like to wear the earbuds and stuff like
Were
that.
your
when I'm
ears
doing
getting
the
all
show.
sweaty?
Get a little bit of the ear sweat.
Sweaty, a little sweaty.
My sweaty ears. Well, without further ado, now that we've enabled Lisa to
Now
actually
we've
join the
thoroughly
show.
geeked out.
What, you got a problem with geeking out?
I just don't know how to do it as good as you guys.
Well, wait till you watch it, though. It was very interesting. As
Yeah,
you can see, I was
I'm-
sitting here like,
No, I know you were fascinated, and I was fascinated, but I couldn't really read his lips that well. But I was trying. I was doing my best to try to read his lips.
well, Ron's a very well-spoken guy because he is a DJ, he is an MC, and I see him being the host of some significant space shows in the near future. So once again, let me repeat that address is at Stardom Space on all platforms. He's managed to go across all social media platforms and at stardomspace.com. So go check that out and keep up with Ron. So how's about we get to a little pet of the week?
I'd love it.
You'd love that.
I think that'd be a
Okay.
great idea.
How much is
Hey,
that doggy
everybody.
in the window?
It's time for the Lisa portion of the show. Hooray, everyone. Okay.
Okay, I can
Awesome.
go take a nap now.
Yeah, now it's your turn to go to sleep.
Woof.
I'll put my headphones on and we'll just move on. Okay, so today I'm going to introduce you to, for you Raiders of the Lost Ark fandom, Indiana Jones.
Dun, 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 dun.
Thank you for doing the theme music. I didn't want to try. So Indiana Jones, Indy, as we like to call him, obviously. You know, we named the dog Indiana. You remember? So anyways, we did name the dog Indiana. So anyways, this is cutie patootie named Indiana. He is a small to medium-sized, like white and black terrier type. He's got such a cute little sweet face, and he will use that face to stick that tongue out and smooch you all over the place. He is a kissing bandit. He loves to give out the kisses. Now, little sad story. You know, I've been begging for medical money like crazy. Little sad story. This dog was found. The people in the neighborhood said 10 days he was sitting out there underneath a car in the hot sun and the rain down in Miami and Little Havana. Okay, nobody knows how he ended up there, but he was scared. He was full of lacerations and cuts and wounds. And people tried to feed him, but he was in so much pain he couldn't even eat, poor thing. He was barely alive, and he was in a pool of red, salty, like bloody water and tears and sweat and spit. Poor thing. I mean, he just was, poor thing. The doctor said that the injuries that he had, and by the way, I did not give Gonzo the like really graphic pictures. If anybody wants the really graphic pictures about how this poor dog came in looking to us, because you have no idea what shape he was in before he came to us, I'll feel free to share them on the Gonzo radio page if you guys really want to see them. So no one came asking for this dog, okay? He got taken in to have surgery, and he had his cone, he had his antibiotics, he had more surgery, he had stitches, he had cage rest. Now he is finally healthy, and he's in a foster home. Okay, he loves to play in the garden. He likes to run around the house. He loves to give everybody kisses. And he is looking for a home where he's going to be loved and feel safe and secure. So he's housebroken. He really doesn't shed at all. And he's super adorable. He's a really good boy. And he is about 2 years old, about 35 pounds. His adoption fee is $175. And, I always tell you guys it includes all vaccinations, heartworm testing, spay and neuter surgery, deworming, all the medical that he's had taken care of already. And, people will say things like, some of these dogs that we have, their adoption fee goes up. It's like $250, $300. And people say, oh, I would adopt you, but you're too expensive. You're just too expensive, they'll say to the dog. And it's like, well, here's what. You want to go and get a $75 dog from the shelter, and then you pay to take it and get vetted, and you pay to find out that it's actually got hookworms, and it's got tapeworms, or God forbid, worse surgery needs, like our teeny Nini that we thought she had bad knees. Turns out she's got problems with her heart murmur that we need to fix up. She got bad dental, so we try to do our best for these dogs and give them the best life possible. And that, that takes money. So those adoption fees, you're going to pay $175 to adopt this dog. Good Karma spent thousands of dollars on him. Those are all thousands of dollars that you would have paid if you would have fell in love with him at the shelter the way we do. So adopt, don't shop. Make sure you adopt those dogs from Good Karma Pet Rescue. And I posted recently, surround yourself with dogs, not negativity. That's what I do. So quick little pimp out for our events. I'm just going to hit them real fast and tell you that if you're interested in any events, to go to Good Karma on Facebook. Go to Good Karma Pet Rescue of South Florida on Facebook, and all of the events are listed there under the event tab. On the 23rd, we have Dine and Donate for the Alabama puppies. That's at BJ's Restaurant and Brew House in Coral Springs. They're going to donate a percentage of your food bill, even if it's takeout food. If you don't want to sit there and eat dinner, take out all of it. They're going to give us a percentage. Then there's a Barky Brunch celebrating National Dog Day on the 26th. That's at the Brass Tap in Fort Lauderdale. That starts at 11:30. Then there is a Paint Your Pet fundraiser event at Painting with a Twist in Coral Springs. That starts at 2 o'clock on the 26th. However, you got to order your ticket. You got to get in there. You got to send them an email of your pet so that they can sketch it, and then they help you paint it. We already had one of these events. If you look on the webpage, holy cow, we have some artists at Good Karma. I'm glad I didn't go to this one because there were some really talented people.
Artists.
I stink at that. So then we also have an event coming up on September 15th. We have an adoption event in Deerfield Beach at the Pet Supermarket, which is right there on Federal Highway just south of Hillsborough. And for those of you not in the know, El Jefe Luchador is right there too. So you can come out and meet some puppies and go get yourself some really good Mexican food. I'm not trying to promote them or anything. They're not a sponsor, but that shit is good, okay? I like Mexican food. I swear, I think I'm half Mexican. My mom and dad aren't telling me something. Okay, then also I want you all to go to goodkarmapetrescue.org. We have a new tab on there. You can shop our store, and you can buy all kinds of awesome Good Karma swag. We have those little triangle backpacks that say Good Karma Pet Rescue on them, phone cases, T-shirts, hats, visors. I mean, anything you could possibly imagine to have Good Karma on it. We have magnets for your car. Put that stuff out there and make sure everybody sees Good Karma Pet Rescue and that's where they get their dogs from. If you also go to goodkarmapetrescue.org, I want you to click on the donate link, and the donate link has got all these places that you can get money to us just by spending money you would spend anyways. Boomerang's Thrift Store in Wilton Manors. By the way, go down to Wilton Manors and have yourself a kick-ass time. Go over to Rosie's and get yourself the potato salad because that's the bomb, and a burger.
Tater salad.
They got the New York Grilled Cheese Company down there too. Good stuff. So anyways, go down there to Boomerangs and shop for a cause down there. And you can donate money directly to us always. You could do it on our donate button. Our partner button under the shop is there's our store, which is our Good Karma swag. And then our partners are Boomerangs. Also, we partner with Amazon Smile, so if you use the link, then we're going to raise up to 8% for our medical funds, and if you choose Amazon Smile Good Karma Pet Rescue as your charitable place, we get an extra 0.5%. BarkBox, we have a code for BarkBox so that you could get 50% off your first BarkBox and they'll give us money. Chewy, use our code. You'll get a link. We get a $20 donation. Ollie, which is that fresh, real human food for your dog, they will donate $50 to us if you sign up.
Yeah.
Fresh Step, they have a partnership with us. We're
For the cats.
That's right, because we do kitties too. I'm a dog person, dog enthusiast. You know me, dogaholic. So Good Karma has a partnership with Fresh Step. They'll get litter to us when you buy litter from them. So go and check out everything. It's not just a bunch of adoptable dogs and kitties on that website. And I mean, don't you want an awesome Good Karma pet rescue shirt like this one? I mean, boobs not included.
Boobs not included.
That's right. And like that picture I posted on the Gonzo radio page, I don't have any lights in here to light it up to prove that my boobs are real. You'll just have to trust me and Pete that they're real. So that's my stuff. And of course, follow my dog Sheldon at Sheldon the Wonder Pup on the Instagrams, and make sure that you adopt Gimli. He's still at my house. Share him. I got public pictures of him all over the place. Share him from Gonzo Radio. Share him from my page. Go to my Lisa Kokoris page as opposed to my Shotzi Carmichael, because my Lisa Kokoris page is all of my rescue doggy stuff. Help.
Crazy dog lady.
Wow. So anyways, help out the doggies and kitties. You know I'm always begging for money. I'm begging for adopters. I'm begging for fosters. I'm just begging for whatever I could get. Beggars can't be choosers. I'll take anything I can get. Also, I had my own fundraiser that I started for Teeny Nini. I posted that in Gonzo Radio. I selected a very, very small goal of $200, thinking that if I could get 10 people to donate or 5 people to donate, like a couple bucks, that I would hit my goal. Finally, we surpassed the goal. I've got $230 collected out of 200, but let's try to double that. Wouldn't that be awesome if I set a goal of $200 and then we doubled it and we raised $400 for Teeny Nini, my little baby girl? Well, Corey's little baby girl, but I'm going to steal that dog away from her one of these days.
You can't have a third dog.
Are you kidding me? I almost got a 4th dog this week. You got a sad little story. Got Chipper, my little fat chunky monkey that I fostered last year. Sadly, once again, he has become a victim for the 2nd time of losing his owner. His owner is going into an assisted living facility, so she can't have him. And he has to come back to Good Karma Pet Rescue. And unfortunately, I have a full house right now, and I can't take him back. So he is going to have to go to boarding if we can't find a foster for him. And he is just delicious. So if you're thinking about fostering and you want to foster a gorgeous little schnauzer, little senior schnauzer, who is just the easiest little dog ever, Chipper's your boy, okay? He's not back in the rescue officially yet, but he's coming back because he can't go with her. He's got no place to go. Just like Richard Gere in An Officer and Gentleman, I got no place else to go.
All right. Are you done?
I think so.
I mean, you got everything, and you don't even need to do the shameless self-promotion at the end of the show now.
Well, I decided that, God forbid people start to fall asleep on me. It gets late here, 9 o'clock. Jeez,
it's past your bedtime.
I should have been in bed 5 minutes ago.
That's what you get for eating dinner at 5
That's
o'clock
why I haven't
with
said.
the rest of the old
that's why I
people.
haven't said Pete's here. Pete says because Pete's not here. Pete's already asleep. Pete's got a cold.
He's got. Oh, you brought your.
Oh,
cooties
Kira
over
says.
here?
Kira keeps saying Gimli's already got a home. # foster failure. Kira, are you trying to get me divorced? Okay, I don't want to be divorced. I like Pete.
You're in trouble.
I like Gimli a lot, but
he's a good kid, but he needs to go with somebody who can pay full attention. Maybe the only or maybe the other dog, but not the 3rd or 4th dog.
He would love to be an only child. I'll tell you that.
Oh,
I mean, he gets
my
along
God.
great with the
He's
other
a
dogs.
whore as it is.
But he just as soon as Gonzo knows. He's been to my house plenty of times. He's seen my dogs. Every foster dog has come and gone out of my house. Gonzo's had a close relationship with. Not that close, but
not for nothing. You
not
know what
cardinal.
He needs? You know what he needs? He needs a nice middle-aged gay man to come adopt him, because that is
Mark Holt.
No,
Mark Holt,
no,
come
no,
down
Mark,
from Chicago.
No, Mark's not that kind of guy. No, a guy who will have a nice carrier for him, that will put him in a stroller, that will take him everywhere, and will make sure that he's happy because of course, Gimli will give the love right back.
Oh my God, he is such a sweet. You see how he does with me? Like, he just crawls all over me. He's so funny because he cuddles you like a cat. You know how a cat like goes like, you don't think you just have your hand, they gotta go like that, like to. Like they pet themselves with your body. You know what I mean? They just use you for their own selfish needs.
I feel so used.
Exactly. Gimli does that too. And every time I sit on the couch and I lean forward, like if we eat at the couch watching TV and I sit leaning forward eating my food, he's right behind me. I go to lean back. I'm like, oh crap, there's a dog there.
You could end up
That's not a
sitting on
pillow.
the dog.
I know. He's so funny. He doesn't even make a peep either. He doesn't even care.
All right. Well then.
Dogs.
There you go. Dogs. Let's take a quick break. Come back with RUFKM. Maybe actually, I don't know. Get out of here. Yeah, RUFKM right up to this.
GONZO Radio.
Oh, we are just chugging right along here on another beautiful episode of the Gonzo Radio Show. It is a beautiful episode. It's got
You're beautiful.
It's got a big chunky middle to it, which is really interesting. And once again, for those of you who have hung in with it, and for those of you who have yet to, or are going to go back and watch the Ron Sparkman interview and have him explain how we're going to go to Mars. We are. We're going to go to Mars.
You're going to go to Mars.
We're no longer relying on that 0.3% of humanity that can go to outer space, that are physically and mentally and education-wise that are qualified to be astronauts as per the NASA Super Adventure Time superhero astronauts. No, now we'll send a doctor as long as they can handle the G-forces, they take the training, so... But let's get.
But I digress.
Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this thing, and it's Hollywood hypocrisy. I love the Hollywood hypocrisy.
Yes, you do.
I love.
Are you fucking kidding?
Are you FKM?
Are you
kidding me?
Are you
fucking kidding me?
Oh, you're killing me. You're absolutely, positively killing me. So, wait. I've got copy for this.
Oh, my gosh.
I edited copy.
He's taking this very seriously.
2 pages of it.
Oh, my gosh.
Why, you may ask? Because
why, Gonzo?
A big part of this involves a movie starlet that I happen to like a bit. Her name is Rose McGowan.
Ah, Rose McGowan,
yes. And Rose McGowan says her heart is broken following a report that fellow Harvey Weinstein accuser and friend Asia Argento has been paying off her own alleged sexual abuse victim.
That's Anthony Bourdain's chick, right?
Yep.
She was, that's what I thought.
Oh, yeah.
I knew I remembered her name from someplace.
So both McGowan and Argento are leading figures in the Me Too movement, #MeToo, and against sexual harassment, assault, and discrimination against women. The two friends joined fellow women in the entertainment industry last year in banding together to expose movie mogul Weinstein. And the late Anthony Bourdain, who dated Argento before he died, also put his support behind the actress when she came out against Weinstein. McGowan tweeted early Monday morning in response to a New York Times report claiming her friend had not only been accused of sexual battery, but that she had also been making payments to a young male actor who she allegedly had sexual relations with when he was still underage. Now, for those of you who can see the picture, this young man, his name is Jimmy Bennett, okay? He's 20 years old now. 20 years her junior. And he's been paying. She's agreed to pay him $380,000 over the next 18 months, about $25,000 a month. In documents obtained by the New York Times, Bennett, a young actor and musician, claimed Argento had sexually assaulted him in a Southern California hotel room in 2013 when he was 17 and she was 37. Wait. Here's the skeptical face. Really? Hot ass Asia Argento sexually assaulted you when you were 17 in a hotel room, and you're up to see the age of consent in California is 18, though. I mean, but this kid, this guy, this stud muffin was assaulted. Now, the documents also claim that in the result of the sexual battery, the young star faced emotional trauma, which affected his mental health. Weinstein. Ugh. I don't know how his picture got in there. Affected his mental. Bennett, through legal representatives, made the claims privately against Argento just weeks after she publicly came forward in the Weinstein scandal. Oh, that's the reason why I got a picture of him in there. He just disgusts me.
He's such a pig.
I mean, ugh. You know what? Let's just move on from his face. Claiming the media mogul raped her when she was 21, which we, of course, believe with a face like that. In addition, the document said Argento asked to take a number of photos with Bennett on the day of the alleged assault. One image of the two in bed is in possession of the New York Times. There is still an Instagram photo of Argento and Bennett from the same day, May 9, 2013, as well as Argento waiting for Bennett in the Marina del Rey harbor on the actress's Instagram account. Quote, waiting for my long-lost son, my love, at Jimmy Bennett, in trepidation. Hashtag Marina Del Rey, smoking cigarettes like there was no next week, she wrote in the caption. According to the New York Times, the agreement was reached between both parties does not bar Argento or Bennett from speaking about the matter publicly. The agreement only states that Bennett cannot sue or disparage Argento as long as she makes the agreed-upon payments. In other words, pay me. Neither party were willing to respond to media requests for statements. Bennett co-starred when he was 7 with Argento in 2004's The Heart is Deceitful Above All Things, seen here, a film she acted in, co-wrote, and directed. They played a mother and son in the movie. Little creepy. I mean, come on. It's Asia Argento.
Well, first off, let me tell you something. I went and looked at her IMDb, and between her and this kid, the only thing that I know on either of their IMDb sheets is the kid. He played the young Kirk in the new Star Trek movies. He played the Chris Pine young Kirk.
Right.
So I'm like, that's the only thing I know about these people anyways. But here's what, people are saying, like, how did she sexually harass a 17-year-old boy? You know what I mean? Like, but it doesn't matter whether it's a 17-year-old boy and a 37-year-old woman or a 37-year-old man and a 17-year-old girl. It doesn't, you're still talking about a 20-year age difference. And we're not talking about 20-year age difference like you're 27 and then your husband is 47 or, something like this. This is
like me, you mean? Are you talking to me? Why are you looking
I
at me
wasn't
like that?
specifically pointing fingers at you, but if the shoe fits, lace that bitch up. Okay? Now, the other issue that I have with this story is if she was in fact sexually assaulted also at a young age, what happens to these people when they're sexually assaulted at a young age or have any sort of real traumatic thing happen to them, you kind of get stunted in that similar age. So if she was sexually assaulted at 21, she could be kind of a little bit stunted to a younger age and then therefore feels like the 17-year-old and her are kind of like on the same page and, mentally or whatever, which is a crock of shit. But it is something that does in fact happen. And once again, mental illness.
Well, listen, I'm not assigning guilt, innocence, or blame to anybody. What was done was technically and morally wrong, but it kind of reminds me of all the stories that you hear about teenage boys getting molested by their hot teacher.
Van Halen wrote a whole song about it.
So yeah, right. Somebody has to snitch. Why would you snitch on yourself? I mean, sorry, but I know 17-year-old boys. I was a 17-year-old boy, and I was an absolute
act like a 17-year-old boy now.
I was an absolute animal. If I had a chance to bang Asia Argento, if Asia Argento assaulted me in a hotel room, I'd take pictures. I'd show my friends. But if an adult came to me and said, "Oh, that's wrong," you should. Well, obviously there's money involved. Obviously. Otherwise, he had a real good time. I'm almost guaranteeing he had a great time.
I still say wrong.
Sure, no.
Grant, hey, let me tell you what. I've seen some
good.
adorable little 17-year-old little pieces of yumminess, okay? But I don't want to have sex with them because they're children.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Let me tell you something.
But what about the
I've seen some cute 25-year-olds.
Right.
They're children.
Right, but what about the 17-year-old boys that are 6'4", 240, jacked? They've got mustaches. They've got facial hair. And you're like, how old are you? Okay. Now.
Okay, so look.
The Hollywood weirdos.
She knew how old he was, though.
Yeah,
because she was in a film with him. So that's like a completely, you're going that's like you're reaching. Okay. That's like a real stretch. Okay. I don't ID anybody before I take him to bed or anything like that. If a guy looked like he was, older, I mean, I'm not like Monica Geller that, I thought he was a senior in college. He was really a senior in high school or anything like that. Monica. So, it's just, I'm sorry. It's a child. He's still a child when he's 18. He's still a child when he's 19. My husband's going to be 51 this year. Guess what? He's still a child. So this is it's disgusting. Whether she has that sort of emotionally, mentally stunted growth, maybe, who knows? But I'll tell you something. She was certainly not looking at Anthony Bourdain like he was some young kid. I mean, he was scrumptious. Don't get me wrong. I love me a little Anthony Bourdain, rest in peace. But, you go from Anthony Bourdain, young kid. Anthony Bourdain, young kid. Like, I don't understand. Like, what do you just put buckshot in the sky and just see what comes down? You just take anything?
Well, first of all, Tony was pretty jacked. As I went through like all of the photos and everything to use as in content for the story, there was a picture, an Instagram photo of Anthony Bourdain and Asia Argento walking like down a beach boardwalk.
Right.
And they were both, shirtless. They're both in bathing suits and everything. And, I mean, both of them had six-packs in it.
Sure.
And Tony was 58 or 59 at the time.
Yeah, and he used drugs for a shit ton of years, too, man.
Yeah, but no, you don't get abs like that without doing some core work. And
no, I'm saying, though.
Homeboy did the work. But
he could have gone Keith Richards real easy if he wasn't careful.
So there's the hypocrisy, if you will, you Hollywood types. You're not allowed to bang 17-year-olds. But I'm looking at you, 17-year-old. Really? You report? Okay, you're getting paid. But I wouldn't have done it. If I had 17, I wouldn't have done it. Like I said, I would have taken pictures and shown all my friends. But I'm a savage. What can I tell you? Okay, that's going to do it for us. I mean, look, the time has flown.
Yes, it has.
Tweet. Once again, a big shout out and thank you to Mr. Ron Sparkman for the awesome 30-minute interview. I'm going to watch it over again.
I'm going to watch it for the first time.
I want to go to Mars. That's all you're going to do is smile. Okay. So make sure you check out the Gonzo Radio Show on Facebook. Gonzo Radio Show on Instagram. We're blowing up. We're getting followers. Make sure you get on there and follow along. You get a little insight as to what's going on the show, and of course, little extras because I'm a memeing idiot, and I also like to cut little video vignettes on there too. So by all means, at Gonzo Radio Show on the Instagrams, at Gonzo Radio 777 because somebody's got at Gonzo Radio Show on Twitter. You douchebags, give it up. It's mine. And of course, the Gonzo Radio Show on Facebook with the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. Join. Football is coming. Football. And the Gonzo Radio group and fan page, community page. Get in there, like it up, join it up. And of course, the YouTube page. We went over 160 subscribers, didn't we?
We did.
161?
We hit 161
Woo-hoo!
now. We hit 161. I want to say a special thanks to.
I'm so happy.
I want to say a special thanks to Oda, who is my awesome mentor from Good Karma Pet Rescue.
Oda the mentor.
Taught me everything I know. Taught me everything I know.
With the
She was
flowing white
160.
robes,
I don't know
Oda
who.
the mentor.
I don't know who 161 was, but Oda was 160. So thank you to Oda as 160 and whoever you are, number 161.
Love ya. Okay, well, it's time for us to say our bye-byes. You've already done everything. Would you do it again?
Sure. Go
real
to the
quick.
Real
Don't
quick.
be
I'm not
forever.
going to do everything. I'm just going to say go to the Good Karma Facebook page, Good Karma Pet Rescue of South Florida on Facebook. Also, go to the Fans of Good Karma Facebook because Fans of Good Karma, you'll be able to see all my posts for Gimli. Gimli. Adopt him. Go follow Sheldon at Sheldon the Wonder Pup on Instagrams, and you can see all of his zany stuff. And also, hey, go and send me a friend request at Lisa Kokoris on Facebook.
Shanti Carmichael.
Well, Lisa Kokoris, send me one there because Lisa Kokoris, I have a new album and it's called Critter Sitters and Daily Dogs. It's all of the dogs that I'm going to be walking and all the fun I'm having. And I can have that fun with your dog if you just hire me. Gonzo's going to be pissed because I pimped myself out.
Shameless self-promoting, pimping, self-pimping. All right. Well,
Help me, I'm poor.
On behalf of myself and my poor co-hostess, we both like to say, Kevin, we miss you.
Bye.
Don't cry. But Kevin will be back via Skype because that fancy Skype thing that I just put together here, we'll be able to have Kevin on coming at you live on special extended assignment.
And I'm bringing my earbuds for that one.
Yeah, I bet you are. Well, actually, I'll have a splitter for the headphones.
Oh,
Just for
fancy.
you. Fancy.
Wow.
Extra, yeah, about $4 worth of equipment.
Woo!
All right, well.
I'm worth it.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. And once again, YouTube, like, subscribe.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Put something in the comments. Share it. Pimp us out. And we have a new outro, too, which is always fun. We'll see you next week.
For GONZO Radio, this is Super Time 6000 2015 for GONZO Television Station. Coming to the greater Sandusky, Ohio area. This is Pirate Bill, and this is Frank Welker saying, watch Transformers.
Jesus just left Chicago and is bound for New Orleans. Well, now Jesus just left Chicago.